Hi guys, Mike back again with another video, a public service announcement slash social experiment type video where I want to look at some models from Forge World, and in this particular case we've got the Death Shroud, which are Legion specific for my Death Guard. And what I'm going to do is look at these alongside some recast Death Shroud that have been purchased, so you don't have to. And I want to compare and contrast them, see what they look like, and see if it's worth buying recasts or worth buying Forge World genuine models. Now, to help me with this endeavour, I've got Callum here from Tabletop Banter.
Hello.
Link below to Tabletop Banter. So go over and give them a sub. A couple of great guys, Callum and Harry, who are doing wondrous things around the Horus Heresy. And because we all kind of like the Horus Heresy, we're really interested in you know, you hear about the recast stuff. We wanted to pick up some recast stuff and sort of compare and contrast with the real stuff. So that's what we're going to do.
Exactly that.
So that's our little bag of recast Death Shroud, which was acquired from a recaster in China.
China. Right, yeah.
So this is what you get. This is how it comes. Although it did come with 5 bases too, but I've scored them elsewhere. And this is the genuine stuff from Forge World. And I think we're just going to go through and have a look. So with the Death Shroud, you get 5 bodies, you get 5 legs. Just have a bit of a sort out. What are they? Some arms, lots of scythes.
Many scythes
for the Death Shroud. So you get 5 scythes, you get 5 heads, or there's only 4 there.
There's one there.
Yeah, we've got a straggler.
Rogue head, yeah.
You get the
appropriate pads.
10 shoulder pads. There's that 5th set of legs.
Are they rad grenades?
I think they are. I think they're rad grenades. So we get those 2, and
the
other arms. So
marvelous.
So there we go. So that's our genuine Forge World product.
Well, and 5 bases, obviously, but like
indeed, yeah,
5
bases
in the other one as well. Just,
so we'll just disregard those, and then we've got our recast stuff
from Forgery World, if you like.
Oh, look how that's that wasn't even scripted. That's I like that. So Forgery World, nice.
That's why I'm here.
So, and again, I mean, I have been through all these bits, and all the parts are there. So we have got similarly 5 legs and 5 bodies. They weren't on these gates.
No. Slightly different gates. As you can see, they come on different gates.
So we've got 5 bodies, and we've got the arms that are kind of a bit more higgledy-piggledy. You haven't got lefts and rights on the same sprues, particularly.
Also 1 rogue head, though. 4 managed to stay on, 1 fell off. So it's 1 all in that department.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. 4 heads and a rogue.
From the other end, though. Well, this is back to front.
And all of the shoulder pads are separate.
Indeed.
And we've got our 5 rad grenades too. Yep. And 5 scythes and arms.
And other bits and bobs.
So yeah, okay.
So you do get all of the stuff.
So yeah, absolutely. All the parts are there. Like you say, genuine Forge World on the left, and genuine, as Callum says, Forgery World. I love that. That's brilliant. Forgery World on the right. So should we go for some legs first?
Let's pick up a couple of pairs of legs. So I pick up this cool stance
he's
here.
got it here. So that's that one, isn't it? He's got a.
They look like they are the same stance, and I'll bring it a bit closer for looking at purposes.
So we'll have a look at the Forge World one first.
Okay. So yeah, well, that's what you expect from Forge World, isn't it? It's pretty crisp, really.
Yeah.
I don't think there weren't any casting errors with this.
No.
Particular kit, were there?
It was a very nice kit. And again, I mean, there's the odd issue from Forge World on occasion where there's some mold slips and stuff.
Yeah.
And you obviously get your inevitable gates and bits of flash and stuff to get off.
Of course.
And this is the recast of the same leg.
No immediate things jumping out at me as slips, or there's no pitting. I can't see any holes. No, not on this set of legs. No, there doesn't seem to be any mold slip. Back-to-back comparison.
Yep.
Very, very similar. In all honesty, I mean, the feel is very different.
Indeed, it is.
That's something we both noticed.
Absolutely. I think the most noticeable thing is the feel of the forgery resin, of the recast, where it does feel rougher.
It's very rough.
So
it's also more brittle.
Yes.
Which is noticeable when some parts break a little easier, but it's not so brittle that it snaps all the time.
No.
But you can feel it's more brittle.
And then we can move on to some.
Say, grab a couple of torsos.
So we've got our genuine torsos here, all on the gates there, on the casting gates, and again, no issues there.
No, this was a particularly good cast.
They're looking very nice. Obviously, some flash there, but I mean that's by the by.
Yeah,
I mean,
it happens all the time, doesn't it? Really
comes off. But I mean, the vents on the back are very nice. The pipe work around the back and the stomach area
spot on.
is very nice. Looks really good. So that's the genuine stuff.
And then a couple of example ones.
Where we go, you get the right way around.
Yep.
So again,
very similar.
Again, I mean that pipe work. Well, I don't want to, big up the recasters too much, to be honest.
It's
but
pretty good.
The pipe work there is the same.
It is to be fair. It up here, and we look at it
is to be fair.
Slightly thicker, but I mean, really. You're not know. What's the vent? What are the vents like? Because the vents, I think,
the vents
quite difficult to get. Okay, I was going to say difficult to get right, but
so that's looking pretty good, and we'll just get another one here.
Pretty spot on with that.
Yeah, I mean, you could expect that they might be filled with extra resin, or slipped.
But they've actually done pretty well on this one.
They're pretty good. So that's our bodies.
Torsos. Okay.
Well, scythes, I suppose. Well, I mean, the scythes are the main bit of the Death Shroud. I mean, the Man Reapers for Death Guard are kind of the main the weapon of choice. So
when they go farming,
these have got when they're harvesting loyalists. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean these have got to be right, and I think these could go wrong quite easily. The blade on the scythe is potentially room for error there. But again, I mean, you expect a bit of cleanup with Forge World. I mean, it's an inevitable part.
Well, they do say it's for advanced modelers. It's not for someone to just pick up and stick together out of the box.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that one. I mean, that's looking pretty good to me.
And then the Chinese cousin.
Okay.
Is obviously put together slightly differently in terms of the gating and that.
Yeah.
This is where it does lack a bit of quality in comparison.
Yeah.
Particularly the blade.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of it's all right, but the blade is noticeably different.
It is, to be fair. I'm not sure which, if what we're looking at is similar. But yeah, I don't know. It seems to be a little bit stunted, or I'm not sure. It's not quite.
It just doesn't have quite the same shape.
No,
it's not that same clarity of shape.
No. It's something about it.
But at the same time, I mean, we're looking at this as bare resin. Once it's been cleaned up and it's been primed and painted, you probably won't notice too much of a difference. Absolutely. I wouldn't have thought. And like I say, the handle and the hand, the details in that area are the same.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just sort of spying this one out of the corner of my eye. It just looks a bit. I don't know. I'm not sure.
It looks like a zombie sort of thing, doesn't
it? Yeah. I'm not. And again, I mean, there's a thin bit there. There's a missing resin that
and I don't think we have any of that on
where resin hasn't taken quite well enough. So that's
those
legs, torsos, and sides, and we'll move on to the heads. So these are recast heads, and again, I mean, with the small details, you could expect that you might have issues with these, but again, we've got pipe work around the back of the head.
Pretty good.
It's looking decent, to be honest. I mean,
then as a comparison next to here's the actual genuine Forge World. So obviously the colour is different. You can see here quite clearly. The one on the left is much brighter.
And I would say these when we're saying that the resin on the recast is much rougher, these heads are actually.
Are they all right?
Yeah, actually, they're quite smooth as the Forge World resin.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I mean, the legs are quite rough.
Yes, they are
in places.
But I think that this stuff, the recast stuff, has already been washed.
Okay, right.
So that it'll lose the film, that filmy feeling that you get when you have the releasing agent on there.
Okay.
But again, I mean, obviously the Forge World stuff is super clear and crisp, as you'd expect.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm surprised the head's getting out that detail, to be fair.
And then we'll go for some arms.
Which ones are they?
So these are recast. What have we got?
Arms?
We got all left arms.
So here are some left arms.
And
in a moment.
Those of you that aren't aware of the Death Shroud, they're all kind of arm and scythe specific. They're all armed with scythes, and you need to pick the right the right arms for the right scythe. And in fairness, there's markings on the inside of the arms. So this one's 2 dots, and this one's 4 dots, and this one's 5 dots, I think, or 4 dots. Anyway, which denotes which scythe and which other arm you need to
that's interesting
to put it with,
because doesn't appear to be that on the Forge World lot.
It was on the inside of the shoulder.
Oh, the inside of the shoulder, right? Yeah, I'm with you. So that is there. So they kept it.
Okay, so we've got.
So that's a detail that could have been skipped, but it's there on both, which is good.
So, and again,
pipe work, all right.
Yeah, to be fair,
that is a detailed bit of work.
Oh, there's a bit there's a pipe there that's broken.
Bit of green stuff.
Potentially, yeah. But I mean,
and then for comparison, might as well bring in. So how much flash is there on that one? Out of interest. Not too much.
Not too much, no. A little bit between the arm and the pipe.
As I say, there's a surprising amount of flash between arm and pipe here.
Okay.
But again, I mean, it's the quality of this it feels much nicer.
Indeed, and just by sight, actually, I mean,
the pipe work is considerably better.
Got some actual hands there, so these are those two.
Yeah.
So I mean, they do look crisper. These edges look
much sharper.
Look sharper, don't they? These look a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall,
not too dissimilar.
No, not really. So,
and that's pretty much. I mean, shoulder pads, Death Guard specific ones first.
Yeah.
This is the actual Forge World. So as you'd expect, pretty crisp. I'm trying to see if there's any bits snapped. I think that's just actually the design.
Yeah. I think there's a kind of
a almost looks like it's been snapped.
Yeah.
But it's actually part of the design.
Yeah. Just one side of the shoulder pad has got this detailing here.
Okay, yeah,
as with the recast version, I think there's some dodgy.
There's some bits.
There's some dodgy casting here, so you can sort of see that's dodgy, and I think this detailing is certainly not as good.
No. It's quite noticeable on the one on the right there. To be fair.
Yeah, and the Death Guard symbol is decent.
It's recognisable,
but again, certainly not as sharp as as the genuine stuff.
Yeah, so I think that's most of the major components, really.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's
interesting.
It really is. Yeah, it was. You sort of hear a lot about the recast world, and we wanted to kind of pick some stuff up just to see really what it was like and
do that comparison.
Yeah.
And now it's worth mentioning sort of like costs.
Absolutely,
and
stuff,
yeah,
go for it, yeah.
Because a lot of people buy with their wallet. So just. Quality aside, the Forge World stuff, the Forge World Death Shroud are £50 now, so that's gone up recently.
Yep.
And this particular set of recast Death Shroud were £16.94, so £17 for all intents and purposes.
Yep.
Which is just over almost a third of the price.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, we're saying it's a clear £10 per model.
Over here.
For your genuine Forge World, excluding postage, of course.
Yeah.
Which runs in at 12%, as you may or may not know, unless you can pick it up directly from Forge World or spend over £250. And these ones are running you £3.40. Yep, £3.40 each.
Which is a noticeable difference.
Yeah.
Now it's questioning whether the quality is a third on the recast stuff over the Forge World stuff.
Yes.
And what else you pay for? Because obviously with Forge World, you don't just pay for the models. You pay for if there's an error, they'll send you something. As soon as possible.
Yeah.
And the customer service that goes with Forge World products is very good.
Indeed. I'm not sure what comeback you've got with Chinese recasters.
No.
Yeah. No. Not a lot, I'm guessing.
Probably not.
But it's. I don't know. It's an interesting look, isn't it? It's an interesting kind of experiment. I'm just looking at a scythe here that's not very good at all. This is really lumpy and horrible, this one, but again, I mean, like you say, Callum, it's that price differentiation, isn't it? £10 versus £3.40.
I think you'd be hard pushed when they're painted up, side by side, to notice too much of a difference.
Which in fairness, I will do. Obviously, this video is going to go out because we want to sort of share our thoughts about the Forge World versus Forgery World. That's fantastic. You need to trademark that. That's brilliant. Yeah. That's brilliant.
Copyright that one.
And so this is a look at the bare resin stuff, but I think it'd be worth. Obviously, I want to put together a Death Shroud squad, and I'll put together a couple of the recast Death Shroud. I think
so. We can see once painted.
Yeah, I might not do the whole. I don't think I'll do the whole 5, but I might put a couple together, or maybe just one. just to have a go, see what it looks like. Maybe get the best bits from each kind of, they get the best legs with the best body and best scythe and arm combination, and put one together and see
if you can tell the difference.
We'll do that. We'll do the taste test with resin instead, and see what they look like. And
here's another thing you could always think about.
Yeah.
So obviously we're looking at these two things side by side, but you could get 2 of these kits for less than 1 of these.
Yep.
Which means you'd have 10 things to choose from. So you could pick the best 5 and still be better off cost-wise.
Yeah.
So it's just another interesting thing to think about. It's not necessarily face value. It's also you can buy redundancy, and you can buy the fact that there will be some errors. Yeah. And you'll still be spending less.
Indeed. But
again, it comes down to the quality and how it will look painted up and stuff like that as well. So I think it'll be very interesting to see. Which I'll definitely do. I'll definitely do that. But and I suppose one of the other things to think about is the kind of the moral and ethical issue about buying Recast or buying. Instead of Forgery and having a recast army potentially, you could potentially do that, and whether anyone would know, whether you get called on it, I mean, I can imagine once these are painted up, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between the two. No, probably not.
And whether I sort of struggle a little bit, I suppose, with the moral side of things. I really like collecting the the Forge World miniatures, and clearly respect the the hard work the designers have put in, and all the hours of work they've done to create this, and then clearly
someone else has put them in almost like a photocopy machine.
Yeah, someone's just completely ripped it off and copied it, and just bought a genuine set clearly and made their own molds and recast. So I mean
it's an interesting one.
I'm not sure about
I would be interested to know
how it sits with me.
How many people have tried this and not said anything? Because I'm sure there are going to be people out there who go to events and play games regularly who have bought recast stuff, whether that be knowingly going out and buying recast stuff from a recast retailer, or whether it be turning a blind eye to a lack of information on an eBay purchase.
Sure.
Because unless it's got all the documents, chances are it's not Forge World.
Indeed, and again, the Facebook pages, I mean, the amount of Forge World product, allegedly new, genuine Forge World product being sold in Facebook groups is huge.
Yeah.
And people want proof that it's genuine Forge World. But in fairness, there's nothing stopping me, for example,
bagging it up
in my genuine Forge World bag and putting it on Facebook, is there? To be fair,
yeah.
I mean, the discerned Forge World modeler
would understand,
would question that.
But
if I'm honest,
a first timer might not.
Absolutely right, absolutely right. And again, next to each other, you can tell the difference. I mean, I was sort of worried that if I mixed them up, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But just from the colour,
mainly, and the feel, the colour and the feel are the big ones.
Yeah.
But you take those two things away, and you might be hard pushed to find too many differences.
Indeed, and I suppose one more thought I'm having is the content of the resin. I mean, we all know that resin is dangerous to work with, and you should wear masks and open area, and it's potentially carcinogenic and all that sort of stuff.
Should you be wearing a hazmat suit?
So I'm not entirely sure. If this stuff starts getting sanded, what's in it? I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know what's in genuine Forge World resin.
That is true, but you would expect there are some health and safety regulations.
Yeah. So I have absolutely no idea what's. I mean, maybe I'm being poisoned and it's absorbing through my skin as we speak. I mean, I don't know. But I'll let you know. But yeah. So that's another query. Sort of health, complications potentially from who knows what. I mean, who knows what's in it.
But then again, it could also be perfectly fine.
Absolutely fine.
We just don't know.
We don't. So.
So I'm gonna spend my evening just shaving bits off and sniffing it, and then if I get really ill, we know something's not quite right.
I'm gonna smell one.
Nah, it does smell like poo. It's not a very nice smell.
Well, I mean, these are completely unsanded. I haven't done anything with these models as yet, and they don't smell of anything.
Oh, don't they?
At the moment, no.
Okay.
As Forge World, the smell test. This is making brilliant YouTube, I know.
This is, fantastic.
Again, I mean, neither smell at all. So, I mean, obviously, Forge World resin has a smell when you start to sand and manipulate it.
It'd be interesting to find out if they're the same.
I'm not sure if I want to smell this, but maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll get one of my kids to sniff it instead. Who knows? Maybe not. No, I jest. Clearly. So yeah, I mean, it's. I hope well.
What else is there to say, really? I hope it's been informative at the very least. I would be really interested to sort of know of other people's experiences with recast stuff, because there are some people who are quite open about it as well.
Yeah.
And this particular recast supplier isn't hugely popular.
Right.
So it's not the one that people have advertised on other YouTube channels before now.
Yeah.
And I think there's a massive price difference between those. This particular recast salesperson, and the one that is commonly used by other people online.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, I think just from my general knowledge of things, the Chinese recasting stuff, which this is, which is very cheap. A third
of the price.
And then I think there's the Russian or kind of Eastern European recasters as well, who
which is about half.
Half price from what we can discern and what we've seen out there and on various groups and pages and stuff. So the recast stuff is readily available, really, if you kind of look for it.
Yeah, like half an hour on Google, you can probably find what you want. Yeah,
but and I get there's lots of there's moral and ethical implications but
that is for an individual to decide,
absolutely,
really,
down to the individual. And I suppose it's it's a buyer's market, isn't it? And you buy genuine and stick with Forge World, which I completely advocate.
And to be fair, there's nothing like working with a bit of Forge
absolutely
World,
not. I mean, it's a real treat working with Forge World, if I'm honest. And you know exactly what you get, and you've got the
customer support,
customer service. Just having visited Warhammer World on numerous occasions and spoken to designers and painters, it's just a wonderful place to be. So clearly there's issues from the recasting world. Clearly it's a forgery. It's
questionable at best.
Absolutely questionable at best. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, in terms of the products, and you take away the ethical side, it leaves a more interesting debate in, I think.
Indeed, yes. You get your people. People do complain about Forge World prices. So it's interesting that there is a market out there for this stuff that's so much cheaper. It's
cheaper than Games Workshop stuff.
Yeah.
So by some way.
and from a quality perspective, it's close. You could. You
can tell, but
I would certainly rather have Forge World any day of the week.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, sure. If someone gave me the option, I would pick Forge. As in, like, here's a present, Callum. Which one do you want?
Indeed.
I'd take the Forge one every time.
But if you don't have the funds, if you and you want Forge World models, Forgery World models, it's I don't know. Maybe,
it's out there, isn't it?
Maybe it's an option for some, but
worth thinking about anyway.
Indeed.
And it's always nice. I like these videos that are thought provoking.
Yeah.
They get people thinking.
Absolutely. I'll be interested to hear other people's opinions and responses to this video. Actually, it's what are your experiences of recasting? Do you advocate it? Do you do it yourself? I appreciate people maybe don't want to advertise the fact that they've got a completely fake army. I get that, but I think it's like Callum says, it's an interesting debate as it's so readily available, easily available,
and you don't know who's using Forgery World and who isn't. Because once it's painted, I presume it looks very similar.
Well, indeed. I can't imagine.
So not everyone's going to walk around with all their Forge World receipts.
No.
And say this is my army.
No. So, like I say, I think in a future video, I'll paint up some of the fake stuff, and we'll do a test and see if you can tell the difference between the genuine stuff and the fake stuff.
Yeah. See if you can believe it's not butter.
Well, indeed. So yes,
I think that's everything, really.
I think it is. Yeah. So let us know what you think. Let us know your experiences. I think this video might get some
mixed reviews.
Yeah, certainly mixed reviews, and I certainly expect to see some thumbs down for sure. But let us know what you think, and let us know your experiences, if any, and just sort of your moral and ethical thoughts about it. So that's it for this one, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.